Hi, everybody. Tonight I want to go over the EFT tapping points, just the points. I'm not going to go through the process. A lot of people have asked, what are the points and why do we use those points? So that's what I'm going to cover in this brief video. I'll have other videos that are explaining how to do EFT and tons of information. So be looking for that. I will have a PDF, if you like, of this information that I'll be actually reviewing and reading some of it for you to get if you like, and the link for that will be listed below. I'll be happy to send it to you if you want the printed out, just text version of what these points are. So my name is Mary Sue Abernethy. I'm an advanced EFT practitioner. I've been using it since 2004. And I just love this modality. It's so powerful. Don't underestimate the power of this modality. So let's get after it. Let's just talk about what are the points and why do we use them. So the points are symmetrical on both sides of the body. So you can tap on either side, it doesn't matter. And the points are on the side of the hand and on different parts of the head and torso. And I'm going to explain what the points correlate with. They actually all connect to a specific meridian. Well, almost all of them do. And that meridian runs through an organ. And so often the meridians are named after the organ that's the primary organ they run through. And so I'll mention that as well. So if you would like to know that information. So I'm going to go through the sequence that I traditionally use for all tap-alongs videos. I tell my patients to use them all for videos and any scripts or meditation. Once you learn more about what their significance is and their ability to release emotional distress, I think you'll really realize how powerful this sequence is. So you will see different teachers use at different starting points, and there's reasons for that, but we generally all start at the karate chop point. That's what this is called. It's also called the side of the hand. Makes sense, right? It can be on this side, that side, or you can combine the two. And so the karate chop point is the small intestine meridian. So this is actually connected with the small intestine. And it is used primarily for these feelings, for feeling stuck, for sadness, for ease and moving forward, and for letting go, for healing from grief also. And it does promote the ability to feel happy, to be in the present moment. And it helps us remove psychological reversals, which are basically opposing beliefs or resistances in the work of EFT or in using EFT. It can also help remove any secondary gains, because essentially on this point, we say what the problem is that's alive in us, which is one of the huge benefits of EFT. It gives us something to do with the negative things that are alive in us. We say them out loud, and then we say a statement of acceptance, like it is what it is, or I'm tapping on it anyway, or I deeply and completely love and accept myself. That's the most common phrase used once we state what the issue is. So that's the karate chop point. The next point I go to is the top of the head. This is how I was trained. A lot of EFTers start here instead and then end with the top of the head. I was trained this way, and that's the way I like to do it. So the top of the head is actually the crown chakra. You will hear me use some language that weaves in a little bit of energy medicine too, because I was trained with Donna Eden. I'm very familiar with that work as well. So this is the crown chakra, or the top of the head. It's not one particular point. It's actually a collection of many different meridians. It opens the crown chakra when we tap on it. It promotes a spiritual connection or a connection to the higher self. It also allows for sort of an anchoring in of the new balance and alignment after we've done a few rounds of tapping. The next point is the eyebrow point. So I'm going to move in closer. You basically feel for the hair of the eyebrow and tap right where the hair begins. I have some patients that like to tap both sides and even tap the middle point, the third eye here. That's an alternate. And so they'll tap both like this. But generally you tap on one side, or many people like to tap both sides simultaneously. There's also many different ways of tapping. Like some people tap like this, or they use all their fingers, or they bring them all together and tap like that. Some people like to tap very, very lightly. And I even like to tickle sometimes, just a very light tapping like that on any of the points. You can also tap and breathe. Just tap and hold it. So that, I'm so glad I remembered to say that, because that's a really cool thing you can do. After you practice a little bit, your body is used to these points and they get stimulated. So this is the eyebrow, and it is the bladder meridian. And we use this one it helps release trauma, frustration, restlessness, hurt, and sadness. And it promotes peace and emotional healing. Yay for that. The next one is the side of the eye. It's right here on the temple of the eye, but on the bone structure there. So if you can see that, I'm tapping even with my glasses. I don't have to take my glasses off of this. So it's the side of the eye. This is the gallbladder meridian. And we use this one to release resentment, anger, rage, and it promotes clarity and compassion. Yay. The next one is under the eye. Again, it's on the bone structure of the eye socket, right under the eye. This is on the stomach meridian. So when we use it, it releases fear, anxiety, nervousness, phobias, and craving. Makes sense, doesn't it? That this point would help with craving because it's the stomach meridian. Also, so often people say when they're afraid, they feel the fear in their stomach, or they feel anxiety in their stomach. And this point promotes contentment, calmness, and feelings of safety. The next point is under the nose. Some people tap it like this, once again with all fingers, or some people I've seen them tap like this. So under the nose is the governing vessel meridian. And this one helps release shame, powerlessness, embarrassment, and deep psychological reversals. This is a term we use for counter beliefs, sort of the reasons we stay stuck in a certain way, like believing we don't deserve to be well or to heal. It promotes self-acceptance and self-empowerment, compassion for self and others, and it is what's called the visionary point. So this is also a great point for positive tapping. The next point is the chin, or under the mouth, and this is the central meridian. The central meridian runs right down the center of the body. Donna Eden uses this meridian, by the way, for the zip-up procedure, which I'll be happy to teach you guys at another time. But it's great for highly sensitive people to zip up that central meridian. It starts at the top of the pubic bone and comes straight up the front of the body 3 times, and taking in a deep breath. But this, under this chin point, we use it for shame. No, I'm sorry, that's the under the nose. The chin point, we use it for confusion, for uncertainty, shame, and psychological reversals. And it promotes clarity, certainty, confidence, and self-acceptance. The next point is the collarbone point. This point I always demonstrate by sticking my collarbone out, but you don't have to do that on yourself. Mostly just to feel the collarbone and let your fingers touch the bone and let your fingers drop down. It'll catch in that little spot there, right down under the collarbones on either side of the body. We do usually tend to tap this one with 2 hands or 1 hand, but there are 2 points like that. And you can do one side, that's fine. Some people like to tap this point, when I hit my microphone, tap this point like this. I tend to tap it like this when I'm driving a car, if I need to tap while I'm driving. So this collarbone point is the kidney meridian, and we use it to release feelings of being stuck, anxiety, and insecurity. And it promotes ease in moving forward, and moving forward with confidence and clarity. The next point is under the arm. So it's right under the arm, and it's about 4 inches down from the armpit on the side of the body. And this one is the spleen meridian. I think I said the collarbone. This one is the kidney meridian. Yeah, it makes sense that it would be about anxiety and fear. And the under the arm is the spleen meridian. This one is also fight or flight. It's the spleen carries that aspect in the body. We use it to tapping on the side of the body. You don't have to hold your hand like this. You can put it like this. Some people like to tap both sides like that. My kids call it the monkey point, because they say, you know, you look like a monkey. But this is the spleen meridian, and it helps deal with guilt, worry, anxiety, nervousness, cravings, self-esteem, and obsessive thinking. And it promotes clarity, confidence, relaxation, and compassion for yourself or others. So those are the main points that we use. And the sequence we go in is tapping right here, saying the negative thing that's alive in you and a statement of acceptance. And then we use a repeating phrase on all the other points. Like if it's anxiety, even though I have this anxiety, I choose to love and accept myself. We say it 3 times, even though I have this anxiety, I love and accept myself anyway. Or even though I have this anxiety, I'm tapping on it right now anyway. And then you use a reminder phrase, this anxiety. And if you notice it in your body, it's always good to say that as well. And I think I mentioned it in the beginning. Actually, I don't think I did. So you always want to measure. I'll mention this in my other videos. In the very beginning of a sequence, you write down, always write down what it is you're tapping on, the phrase that you want to say out loud. Say it out loud. Notice how bad it feels in your body and measure that on a scale of 1 to 10 so that you can come back to that. You can expect to be able to get it down to 0, either in that one session or finishing it up in a second or third session, but usually the first session. So you say it out loud, measure it on a scale of 1 to 10, how disturbing it is. And then it's also good to notice, where do I feel that in my body? And what does that feel like? Is it dense? Is it hot? Is it heavy? Is it pointy? Is it cutting? Those are all good descriptions. And then check on that later after you've done a few rounds, because that will change as well. And if the body sensation changes in the next round of tapping, use the new description. So we go through the sequence saying this anxiety. Notice I did 2 hands. A lot of people like to do that. That's how I started out. So this anxiety, this anxiety, this anxiety, this anxiety. Usually pretty quick in there, I start saying things like, I'm willing to let it go. This anxiety, this anxiety, this anxiety. And you just keep going and checking in at the end. How disturbing is it? And any new information that you got. Now, I want to tell you about a few other points, since this video is about the points. There are alternative tapping points. One is the liver meridian, which is on the ribs. So it's basically 4 inches down from the nipples, or right on the rib cage, right under the breast. And this meridian is in particularly useful for anger. Sometimes people will touch it and go, wow, that is tender in there. They're carrying a lot of anger, most likely. So this releases anger, and it promotes compassion, safety, acceptance, and transformation and peace. The next point that's an alternative point is what's called the sore spots. Sometimes you'll see this on old diagrams of EFT because they used to use it a lot. And it's further down than those kidney points that we tapped on here, where you drop down and it's 2 points there, the kidney meridian. These are the sore spots. You go out a little bit further. Usually if you feel around in the chest area and rub deeply, you will find them. Often they're very sore. And these spots can be used in place of the tapping on the side of the hand. And they're used also for massive psychological reversals where you're just feeling so stuck. So you can rub these vigorously clockwise or counterclockwise. And then the next one is the thymus thump. This is right on the thymus. This actually stimulates the immune system. And then there are other points you can use. These are fascinating, and they're used when you need to use tapping points sort of incognito, I'll explain that later. Look, sort of if you're at a meeting, you can do it with your hands underneath the table. Or we've seen people use it in sporting settings, like in the dugout for baseball. So these are the finger points. These are also used in matrix reimprinting, which is another type of healing technique. So you start with the fingers and you tap on the cuticles. If you hold your hands like this, you're going to tap on the side of the finger that's closest to the body. So the cuticle. See, it's closest to my body on each one of my fingers, like that. So I tap on this point on my thumb. Some people even like to bring them two together like that. But I just tap like that, this point of my cuticle. This is used especially for intolerance or arrogance and entitlement. And then the next one is the index finger. This is used really well for guilt and shame. Then the middle finger is for jealousy and addictive cravings. Then the little, you skip the ring finger, the little finger is used for anger and heartbreak. This is the small intestine meridian. And then you also can use the back of the hand, and that is the gap that's between the ring finger and the pinky finger, that little gap in the bones there. You tap right there. And this is called the gamut spot. It's used for chronic conditions, pain, depression, loneliness, and anxiety. It's a really nice combination to also put this on the chest, over the heart area, and it's the triple warmer meridian, so it's perfect to tap it when you're really anxious or you're working on those issues. But it's a great thing to calm yourself down and take 3 deep breaths slowly. Then also, there is a point up here between the 2 eyebrows. A lot of people call it the third eye. This is the forehead point, and it is for trauma, anxiety, addiction, and depression. And then there's an interesting sort of a shortcut that some people use when they're just trying to nip a belief in the bud. It's similar to what you do with DNRS, where you're trying to stop a network from firing. And so what you do with the temporal tap, and by the way, this is on page 75 of Donna Eden's book, Energy Medicine for Women. It's called the temporal tap. So what you do is you tap on the left side of the head over the ear. So you take your fingers and you put them right over the ear, and you tap right there over the ear going backwards, and you think of the negative thought, the negative statement, like, I am so afraid. This is so hard for me. And you tap like that. And then you tap the right side for the positive reworded affirmation, like, more and more I'm learning how to do this. More and more I'm getting through this. I'm sorry, see, it's like that. This is for the positive side. Okay. So I hope that was informative to you and helpful. And please look for my other videos on YouTube, and please like my channel, subscribe to my channel. I'm just going to keep putting this stuff out there. I'm so excited that I'm finally getting this out. I hope this helps a lot of people. Please let me know if it does. Feel free to email me, and I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye. Let's see.